Yeah, okay, all right. We're going to get a look at the agent select then, and yeah, quite rightly, there are no changes up on either side.
Yeah, there aren't. And you know what? That'll play into probably Gentlemates more than it does G2 Gozen, but comfortability is always better in that case, as we've already spoken about.
Yeah, and I think on the G2 side, we've just got to be looking at how Akita performs. You mentioned players stepping up, and with how reliant the solo Waylay can be on having a player that is comfortable in that environment and being, I guess, the hard carry in some ways here, is going to be very telling on where G2 currently sit in this best of 5 and what their chances are heading on to what could be an absolute gauntlet of maps if they have to reverse sweep this.
Yeah, I mean, there's no better way to go and prove that you deserve to win a grand final than winning on all your opponent's best maps. But for Gentlemates, winning here on Split would definitely prove that they are one of, if not the best, in the region at this current moment in time. The fact that they could go out and win against such a, I guess, such a stalwart in G2 Gozen's map pool.
That it is, and look, they're going to have to find a way to win it 3 times in a row here against Gentlemates if they want to extend this series, make it look a little more competitive. I think Gentlemates are peaking in terms of their confidence right now. They're going to be starting it out on the defender's side, I believe, as well. So a chance to generate early momentum here off the back of the win that we just saw as well. So huge opportunity now to get one step closer, one map closer to a first title in the region.
Well, with Gentlemates starting on the defence, there's no better platform in which to build from. The fact that Split has been in the past so defender-sided, but we've seen it in terms of the side bias move a little bit more central. As you can see on your screens, G2 did win this 13-11 against their opponents of Gentlemates the last time that this was played.
Yeah, and the time before that, we have to recall, of course, it was 13-8 in favour of G2. So the gap has closed, as Akita does the exact same here on ramp very early, set up by a Horn in behind the Viper wall and already knocking on the door outside A.
G2 full space in mid if they want to move through it, as Gentlemates don't want anything to do with it right now. The fact there is this opportunity to scale further for Akita. Not even seen at all from the player. Wins down on the site and now deep in enemy lines. This could pose a big issue for Gentlemates.
False sense of security perhaps here, maybe for G2 though. Gentlemates aware of the fact a player could move through middle. You look at Nami's position on B as well. She's also catered to a potential backstab. Marty in the perfect position, but it's Wenz instead that strikes with a double. Akita, her position finally revealed deep in the bowels of Spawn, but it's still a 2 versus 1 in front of her.
Yeah, but she's already seemed to escape both players, although going for the fight, Wenz is low.
And Berriex pops up at the perfect timing. Gentlemates with their first pistol round in this series. And what an important pistol it could prove to be, getting off to a good start on their favoured defender side.
Yeah, I think the big aspect for me right now, Hazard, is the fact that Gentlemates come into this and completely stop any momentum that G2 Gozen could have possibly had. A great start. And well, especially being on this defender's side, if they can control the choke points, it could be a very difficult evening on Split on attack.
Yeah, I mean, just the way there in the previous round that they decided to give up mid control, also knowing that ramps had been conceded early. Really give Akita the best position from which to play, and again, as she drops at the front of the line here, it's only going to make the cleanup a little easier. Brilliant flash through to set up Marty on the TP play. Couple of bodies dropped here, so Gentlemates will want to make sure that Eva walks away empty-handed. Might be a difficult task to ask for with that judge at close range, but Nami makes sure nothing gets past her, and mates will double up.
That they will, even looking to pick up the judge, which, as we know, at close range on this map can find massive value. So overall, Gentlemates very happy. And, I mean, G2, you can see the pace in which they can actually hit a site as well. But just a little bit, again, I feel as if I see this quite a few times, like in terms of once we get past the execute, there's a little bit of chaos in terms of actually how G2 work together post-execute.
Yeah, I do really feel like sometimes the Waylay is a role player's agent, because you can be hung out to dry a lot of the time when you're trying to dive in. You really rely on that support network of your team in some situations. Nikita heading this charge once again, but this time through middle, as Wens has managed to drop away to the support network of the rest of her team. Brilliant use of the molly, but only going to find one from it actually. And Marty, the re-swing with 2 huge kills to just shift that pendulum back, and well, she's on for another and will find it.
I mean, now the question is where is Ava? But she now has to face up against 4 to get this spike back. And with the way that Marty's playing the op, we can't help but feel that is going to be a save. And that's exactly the case. Gentlemates could have possibly started this defense off flawlessly.
Getting spotted here. It's Berry going down, but at the cost of information. And with how far away the spike is, this just doesn't even feel like it's within her ballpark at this point in time. Yeah. So it is going to be a save. And it's another round, like you highlighted, where Marty is the star. Denied in Istanbul last year in stage 3, her dream of going to GCC thwarted by G2. But this time, an opportunity for revenge with a brand new squad.
Where are you?
A facelift, Toka taken from that team as well. And if you even look back at that best of 5 Cairo in stage 3, it was one of her weakest performances that we've seen. So to see her so revitalized here in a meta which really suits her, I think, in terms of agents as well, it's really nice to see.
Yeah, it really is. And I think as well, just in general, like the opens is not something like I can remember off the top of my head that Marty was like really lights out at last year, but like genuinely, like the fact that like how snap and quick she is just shows you like in such a massive boon to the Gentlemates defense. Big information from Nami. This is just going to be another quick pop.
Yeah, Kita again at the front, but drops, and behind it, it's Berry at the triple.
Spike down, B.
Just like that, G2 knocked down like dominoes, and Eva again finds herself in a familiar situation. Sat in the sewers, but this time there is no rifle to sweeten her luck, unfortunately. Yeah, Gentlemates have been incredibly efficient in their anti-rounds, Cairo.
Yes, they have, and that's making the life so much easier. The defense economy, as we know, can have its trials and tribulations. And Gentlemates, with these rounds, are making that even easier. On top of that, Hazard, this might be 2 maps in a row that will see a very early G2 goes in timeout. As I expect after those 4 rounds, Drew and JT are not happy at all.
No, it's another slow start, which you don't expect from players of their caliber, but when it does happen, it's that maturity, it's that experience that actually gets you back in the game, lets you approach it with a level head. A player like Mimi has been competing on all kinds of different stages for over a decade now, so if there's anyone you'd want in charge, it would be her. Quick set piece to try and put Akita in a position of power here, but it's Marty's op on the other side again.
Yeah, but sights are focused towards main, but this is where the Viper Wall will do well to stop the line of sight towards that part of the map. But as it drops, Marty will get the kill that seems to always come her way, and a quick showstopper will at least keep the advantage in Gentlemate's favour after there was a quick trade on the A side of the map.
Wen's just marshalling the situation with her wall right now, needs the smoker support from Nami, but drops off.
Ooh, and another trade coming through, but Nami's swing just as good. Does double up, and that's going to be the difference maker. No trade back, and Vanya, with full HP and just a half shield, will have the opportunity to try and plant the spike.
Nami's already spotted her though, and she has to go elsewhere.
Yeah, and Well, unfortunately, the spray down does end up with Gentlemates finding 5 and the op recovered. Marty, good, but Nami even better with the fact that she got that double spray down and put Gentlemates so far in front.
The timing could not be any better on when this wall drops, because it looked like they were almost completely lined up in her crosshair immediately there. And just speaking of individuals as you were, every player has had their hero moment. I think it hasn't been an issue for anyone on Gentlemates to shoulder the burden when they've been put under the microscope, whereas for G2, they're looking for someone to help do the heavy lifting. You look at just a sample of some of the grand finals that they've played in. As we said, only 1 loss, and that was 4 years ago now, 3.5.
Yeah, and for those wondering why there's a little gap there, that's because G2, for the first and second split, weren't able to reach the grand final and did not have the greatest start to 2025, hoping for a better start in 2026. But so far, this best of 5 has it. It's not going the way you would think in terms of history, in terms of the fact that Gentlemates are here for the first time.
And you see even on that graphic as well, Falcons, another team who, similarly to Gentlemates, in their very first stage as an organization in the region, made it to a grand final. Whereas sort of here, it's looking like Gentlemates might actually be the first team in 5 years to actually go ahead and win that match. Marty, one of the key components to it, and great information to kick off this round.
Well, Berry X is looking to try and follow it up. This is an equal round for G2 Goes and trying to stop Gentlemates making history and make history themselves, but it doesn't seem as if that is going to be the case. As expected in this round, straight away that A side of the map cleared out and G2 walk into another rifle. That is Wen's, and she is very quickly looking to forfeit this part of the map.
Snaking around, repositioning, not wanting to give an inch to G2. And Gentlemates taking back the main space as well. Locked out of the garage, the last 2 players coming in from tower.
And straight into Wenz, who, not given a chance to finish off the last, allows Vanya a phantom in hand. Now, the next couple of engagements needs to be clean. Doesn't even get a chance to shoot a bullet at the opposing number. So, Gentlemates up to 6, G2 not an answer after the timeout, but that is because they were on an equal.
Yeah, and as we were saying before, with the idea in mind that G2 are this gold standard, Gentlemates look absolutely fantastic right now. They've had to really set the tempo. They're playing to the beat of their own drum, and G2 just aren't causing enough problems in my mind, Cairo. They've tried to develop their A play a little bit through ramp, whether it's asserting Akita or a later lurk from Amy, but really, I have to say, Gentlemates are the ones dictating the pace a lot of the time. They're the ones on the front foot.
And we can see that right now with Marty looking to push the issue. That TP is about to expire and identified through the Prowler. Utility used to try and get that kill, but has nothing gained.
Yeah, Akita would have loved to have found a first blood there. Hasn't looked on the ball so far in this grand final. But a player who has, Berry X, already tucked in the corner here with the jump spot from Nami. She goes overlooked, it could be a serious issue. Wants to try and satchel out, but G2 read the situation acutely. And Akita is off the mark, flying into the site now. Drops over the top, and Nami has no ground left to stand on. For the first time in this half, G2 look to have got the better of mates.
It definitely looks as if that's to be the case. Just whether they can hold on to the site now. As you look at the last 3 remaining, not the best utility to try and get back into site. And well, with Toka gone, it gets even worse.
Yeah, Marty trying to snub out this lurk potentially. Plenty of economy to bankroll another operator here, but not going to be able to save this one in the next round unless Wenz can go ahead and pick it back up. Amy discreetly repositioning and finding 3 kills on the round. A flawless closure of the first for G2 here.
Yeah, well, the fact that they're able to come straight back in, quick pop, knowing that they need to check these close corners, these close angles that have been catching them off guard, and paying due diligence, which is needed. So with that, an answer back, 4 ultimates, the only one used in the last. If they can space these ultimates to the end of this one, has it? I was going to say we could see G2 maybe coming back into this half, but with a quick timeout, you know that the orders have been given out.
Yeah, and it's a momentum breaker as well. It doesn't allow G2 to do anything with the confidence they may have just accrued in the previous. IDEX and Existence offering relief to their players, something which they understand intimately. IDEX was on the La Masia team, which were promoted to Challengers France only a year ago, and of course Existence has played on the biggest stages that TAC FPS has to offer. So yeah, I think that's really important, them just backing up their team here. You know you're up against it when it comes to alt economy, so just being prepared for any of those scenarios, I think, with the tools that G2 have available.
I mean, just the fact that they have nothing to come back with on their own, gentlemates, right? Like, they are quite literally going to be mostly a victim to anything, like in terms of whether that is the Waylay or the Nightfall from Ava. It's really going to be how they try and play the map rather than what they can use to counter something like these ultimates already mentioned.
The one ult they do have is the Viper's Pit, and that's dropped on Garage nice and early. TP here from Marty, so she can join the A-hold, which she will most likely need to do in a moment's time. There's little info other than that early C's towards B for gentlemates, and actually with the TP expiring there, Marty pops a new one and won't have anywhere near as much coverage when this execution comes in from Gozen.
Yeah, it's about Berry X and whether they decide to clear her out, but looking at this right now, realistically, I mean, there's nothing catching her. All right, back up, ready to go. Rifle not dissuaded in this position, but easily traded. G2 EMEA will find a double. So a 4 versus 2 in which gentlemates have to try and clutch up from.
Yeah, Pit dropped into the mix as well, and Marty not looking the right way. Wenz has her work cut out for her here. There is nothing to be done. Economy damage, it feels a little meaningless, I think, as well, because G2 all of a sudden have fallen on luck, and gentlemates, hard times, actually. Berry X, 150 credits. Doesn't feel anywhere near as comfy as it used to in a matter of moments.
Definitely doesn't. But G2 have used some massive cards that they had in their hand. That's the big aspect of this, and that's the big win. I thought for a minute with Berry X not cleared in the corner that was going to go a different direction, but I'm glad that G2 could have their moment when they needed it. So that lead cut down to 4, and there is still 4 rounds to be played in this half, so this could still go either way.
Yeah, looked like the smoke timing was really good from Nami there on the execution as well. Like you said, Berry cloaked in the corner, but not able to get the better of it. One last purchase before the buy could be broken here for the defenders, as G2 are starting to go through the gears now. Setting up for a B play this time, no Pit to oppose them. It's a clear runway with the one exception of Marty's Operator. Has barely missed a shot so far.
It has, I mean, already identified, although it gives her position away, TP away, and lucky to keep her life. You can see right then that the Viper of Wenz wants to get straight out and try and take a fight. Not going to happen. Spike down, clean, 5 versus 5.
Yeah, 2 ults committed to this execution as well. Nami's going to have to from the shadows to clear out space, but all focus on what G2 can do with their own utility.
Well, it is. It's all about how you play off one another, but right now, this site looking pretty... not well stocked at all. It's looking pretty weak in general. G2 playing mostly off-site. The shot's not hitting, and gentlemates are straight back in. Vanya from the corner can't defend her position, so we look to the remaining players of G2. A quick flank and 2 heaven. Nobody on the spike to deny. The spam not working out. There's a panic. G2 goes and need to get into position, but they can't. Gentlemates just held the button 4 and defused.
will go down as a Red Bull clutch for Gentlemates, but it's a complete misplay from G2 in my mind. Double mid re-wrap from both Eva and Amy, but Gentlemate's setup was catered perfectly to it. They still had the Viper Orb in heaven to just whittle them down, and with Nami still alive, she places a smoke on the spike and they full defuse like you said. So just felt like in that situation where things get chaotic, there's no clarity on the G2 side. Again, maybe an issue with communications in these hectic moments, which feels so out of character for them.
It's just the fact that, like, when you think about it, your post plan, it's always like, what your protocols, what's still available for the opponents? Smokes, so why are we playing offside? Listen, anyway, into the next round as G2 are starting to pick up the pace through mid and challenge that Heavens position. Marty has even found the spike.
Down mid.
Yeah, has an opportunity to TP out here as well. Will take it at the first opportunity. Berry put down to a judge, but finds a kill with that in A main. Wins even with a Spectre, dropping another. It's a 4 versus 2, Cairo, and G2 just don't have a way in.
It just feels like you're left scratching your head, but that conflict fight goes Vanya's way and does allow for the site to open up in G2's favour.
Yeah, that was one of the rifles, but coming back in, there's a couple more of those and a rocket. Berry lights the fuse, doesn't hesitate but for a moment. Again, Gentlemates playing with conviction here as they start to course through the site. The rocket will finish off Vanya, leaving only Mimi alive in a 1v3. Best breach in GC, well, you've got to show it now, and unfortunately, she just doesn't quite have enough to take it. An 8th round on this defender's side for Gentlemates again to start the map.
Yeah, and I don't know, man. Like, left scratching your head, and if you're Drew Spark, you're sitting here and asking yourself, do I have to use another timeout here, really? Is this the position we're at? I know G2 have been, for the most part, pretty direct, pretty fast, but no timeout. And G2 can put all their hopes in this defensive half.
Yeah, they have to at this point in time, and it just feels like they're playing with limitation. It's hard to posture, honestly, because Gentlemates look free-flowing right now. Marty on the off angle. Akita never stood a chance.
Wow.
Life has been unfair on her so far in this series, but it's from none other than the good graces of Mates that has set them up on that course.
It feels as if Marty has 9 lives if you're speaking about lives being unfair, because the fact that she's able to take that fight, see 2 more and TP away, that's another dimensional drift up. This is insane. The fact that this A side of the map is being cleared by Marty.
It has been cleared, but G2 are still lingering around. I have a rough idea of what it was that was going on, and I think actually leaves a bit of a gap, and Berry has to reposition herself back here on the site.
Yeah, and Mimi does have a big execute ultimate, or even one that
but she's in middle, Cairo. She's in middle.
Mate, that could have been such a huge card for G2, but instead we look at Berry in the corner, uncleared, and the rifle coming out into play with Nami to help. Gentlemates are certainly on their track to history, on the road, well on their way. G2 goes in, have not had an answer.
I mean, this is just unprecedented. It really does feel like, you know, the only one benefiting from G2's plans right now is Mimi. She had a good first map, decent second map so far as she leads the way, but just everyone else isn't on the same page. I don't think I've seen Akita underperform this much since, what, GCC last year, and even then she looked unbelievable in some of those maps. This is really, really strange to see.
Well, those cards that we spoke about last time, those ultimates that were perhaps able to be used, are gone. They're used in this round now as we expend ourselves into a 4 versus 4, and the spike's still to go down. But you look at G2, they're going for a pretty safe plan.
Yeah, not too much space from which to play. It's through ramp, really, that this round lives and dies for G2. Eva and Amy again in this position. How much value can they possibly generate?
Should be, has to be a lot. as they play passively, waiting for Gentlemates to begin the retake, but you can already see Amy's been identified, but it's Eva instead with 2 big kills. G2 goes and look to finally win a round in which has been and feels like so long. Nami with a chance to snap onto a second. It does not work out. G2 find their 3rd round and a lifeline for the second half.
Last player standing.
A fantastic start for Gentlemates on the defence, but G2 need to show us something more if they're going to have anything in this best of 5 grand final. We spoke about dangerous waters, but we're right in the middle of it, and G2, they need the lighthouse to show them the way home.
Yeah, and that light at the moment seems to be Mimi. She and the coaches with a strong connection. A new G2, a better G2 is what she promised with those changes delivered. And I have to say, I feel like you can see what the plan is, but yeah, again, the execution just missing and individually not the best. Satchel thrown out from Berry there, actually maybe just a bit of a fake to suggest there's a double dive going on in ramp.
I like the idea, playing with the sound cues, but nothing off the back of it, and there is confirmation there is a player on top of ramp because of the Prowler, but nobody's seen anybody. You can see right now, Gentlemate's already beginning to work elsewhere on the map.
Yeah, almost a full re-clear of A here from G2, and they do get rewarded for it. Mimi finds Marty, but as you say, Gentlemate's gathering up in the tower and ready to drop now and descend onto the B site where G2 fall one by one. Amy the last left, and she's already gone. Mimi searching for something in the darkness, but it does not end. The clouds continue to gather over the heads of Gozen. And Berry to bury the last as they go double digits with a second pistol in this map.
Yeah, we spoke about G2 needing to find the light, but the only light they can see right now is another ship passing them by. Gentlemates with a real opportunity now to go and charge on from split, to get to 11, to get to 12 first. And then from there, the opportunities could grow and grow. So double digits found. What did G2 have for us in this anti-eco where, let's be honest, Hazza, this has been one of the weakest parts of their game so far.
We'll catch them.
I think right now, for me, it just speaks volumes about how efficient this Gentlemate system is to elevate all the players in it, in the fact that Toka went the whole first half without finding a single kill on Fade, yet her information through the utility and setup for everyone else was enough to give them 9 rounds. She's got a couple now here on the attack, and by this point, you'd assume that mates are almost unstoppable, and I think you'd be correct in that assumption. The B site dismantled for a second time, and Eva's whereabouts is already known. Wens will finish off her former teammate, as mates do it flawlessly. Cairo just 2 rounds away from what could be the last map in this series.
Could be. We could be heading to that. That depends on whether G2 have anything to show for us, and this is where it starts, because it's the rifle round. This is where we expect to see G2 show us the goods, and it is split. We've seen it before. We've seen massive comebacks for before. This is, or used to be, the comeback map, right? This is where we expect it to be.
Yeah, right. You know, the lopsided halves would suggest that to you. But I think when you look back at G2's rifle round success rate, well, only 5-1 on the first map. Eva here has to get things started for them with some positivity and does so. 2 kills under her belt and support arriving. Should be sunny signs for G2 now. And it is exactly. Finally a little bit of fight back. Wens won't walk away with all too much here.
No, definitely not. Not given much at all. The Rifles finding the bite that we expected them to, and with only 2 lost, it's that old saying that you always say, 3 can buy for 2, but 2 can't buy for 3. So G2 can move themselves into the next map with, or into the next round with everything that they should need. And I think that's the round that really decides where this map goes and whether G2 will have that chance to begin a comeback.
And it's through this breach and waylay where you're expecting that to happen. The counter utility with the stun and hinder can be absolutely huge. I think waylay has given this agent a new lease of life.
Gonna fall back here.
100% agree. G2 already taking quick B space, but I mean, look at the protocols from Gentlemates to immediately pivot on towards A after space has been taken away from them.
And with a full double dive, they get onto site so quickly as well. Plant coming in, but I mean, G2 equally as quick with this flank from Eva. Can't connect the shots, and so gets caught in the Nightfall instead.
Yeah, forced back, and this line from G2 is so difficult to try and work with. Look at Gentlemates and look at how they're trying to play on the front foot in terms of main. G2 now forced to either come out of heaven or CT.
Yeah, and with Wens, this late wing condition through main as well. No smokes for G2 right now, except for on the site. They're just diving straight into trouble. Gentlemates lining up and just drop the guillotine straight on G2's head. Again, the Queens fall to their challengers. And Gentlemates move a step closer to taking the throne.
Yeah, I mean, it's fantastic from Gentlemates. The post plant, how quickly they are to support each other, the quick decision making that you pointed out in Haven is still here on Split. And I think as well, G2 just wasted time trying to clear out main through Eva and not working it as a unit. How many times have we said it? How many times have we pointed out? It doesn't feel like a unit for G2. It feels like it's a bunch of individuals that sometimes show what we expect of them. So far, in this grand final, it feels like Gentlemates have the advantage. And I'm not just talking about round count or anything else like that.
Yeah, no, like I said, it just feels like they're connected at the hip. Like, the synergy has been fantastic, the comms, and it's crazy to say as well, because in preparing for this, you know, you look at the team and both Berry X and Wens, this is their first time on an international roster. The only other player they'd played with previously, HTM, you know, who was with Toka and Marty on that Twisted Minds team that we saw towards the latter end of last year. Yeah, it's crazy. Like, they were literally saying we've been struggling to communicate at times, right? Because English isn't our mother tongue, but here they are, and just making it look so seamless. It's incredibly impressive to witness.
And well, we could be impressed even more so if Gentlemates were to win this map and push themselves to 13. Remember, Existence and IDEX will have their opportunity to speak to their players and set them up for success as well following G2's timeout. They'll also have their own game plan, their opportunity to try and win out this map here and now, as it seems to be through mid and towards B, where there's been no challenge from G2.
Mates have been incredibly good at exploiting this as a weakness for G2, where the focus has really been on main control for the defenders at this point in time. Mimi catching wind of what's going on, but it may be too little too late. Supported by a flash of Marty's, in fact. That was it. Vanya's out in main on a solo mission, and while the Bucky is going to be rewarded for its positioning, it was just the one. A second picked up by Amy gives this life.
Does. It's the post plant though. We've seen Gentlemates thrive time and time again. And here we go. Berry X taking a timing, and that's Showstopper online. This could be it.
Yeah, the rocket gets dodged by Akita, but she's on borrowed time here as well. Toka to put the final nail in the coffin on Split, and from losing this one twice, back-to-back against G2, both 13-8 and 13-11, Gentlemates flipped the script on its head in the grand final with a 13-4.